Sands of Eternity, where legends are reborn. Today is our first real video on the channel, and we are looking at the Mortuary Cult for today. Today's video is looking at how leadership can affect enemies and how much of a chance they will fail their leadership tests when required to make them, for either a panic or, for most importantly, for our casket of souls. So let's find out. Is 3 wizards too many, or is it just right? So let's have a look at the list I've been kind of running recently with the Mortuary Cult. So it takes 3 level 4s, all with necromancy. One is my general with the Enkill's Canopy, and this is just my anti-wood tech or anti-pillar of fire span, just to get rid of them if I need to. And then a level 2 illusion wizard BSB with a law familiar. He's there just to protect and make sure I'm all safe. Then there's just the same kind of core swarms, you Shabdi, and then 2 units of Tomb Scorpion, okay? And then into the rare slot. So I have 2 caskets, and these are kind of the powerhouses of the list, and 2 Screaming Skulls. So the whole point of this list is to look to focus and double down on leadership debuff. So there is about a 40% chance, so looking at my wizards, a 40% chance to get 2 spiritual vortexes. Okay, great. It's about 47 even. It's actually nearly 50% of me getting 2 spiritual vortexes. This is exactly what I need as a minimum. Okay, that in line with 2 Screaming Skulls. Let's say 1 goes off. I've got an aura of leadership debuff of 3. So hit everything in a radius of 3 there. Obviously, if I get a Spirit's Leech, that's a leadership of 5. If I get another Spirit Vortex, that's a leadership of 6. And if the other Screaming Skull goes off as well, I've got a leadership of 7. But I go on averages, so I'm looking at about a total debuff of 3. Okay. I've also, with our triple Necromancy Wizards, there is a 23% chance of only getting 1 Spiritual Vortex. However, what's great about having 3 of them is that there's a 30% chance of getting 3 spiritual vortexes. So that's exactly what we're looking for, is that triple. But we're more likely to get 2, so it's good that we've got a nice safe face. So this builds from my LGT list, where I only took 2 necromancies. So I didn't take any Scream Skulls. So my caskets were probably at best hitting on a -3 leadership, whereas really here I can get up to a negative leadership of 7. So the whole point about this kind of list is looking at debuffing opponent's leadership to really make them feel the effects of panic and also the casket's shooting attack. So let's look at some probabilities then. So if, let's say, I take a leadership 8 Orc army, most of them are leadership 8 bar the Black Orc Warboss, which is leadership 9. Let's say it's leadership 8 on, let's say, some Boar Boys or a Chariot or whatever kind of thing, or a Warboss on a Wyvern. The best is they're getting leadership 8. So if I have a debuff of 4, let's say I've got a Spirit Leech, 2 Spiritual Walkers and a Spirit Leech. Okay, they're down to a leadership of 4. If I now fire my casket and I get the spell off, they've got a 16% chance, 16.66% chance of passing that leadership test. There is 83.3% chance of them failing, and thus in turn probably losing about 6 boars, because you get about 7 hits with the d6 plus 3, wounding on 2s, so it's going through. Likewise, when it's on a war boss, once again, getting 7 through, you're hit wounding on 4, so you get about 4 through. He can't have his armor or regen. If he doesn't got that talent of protection, that's 8 damage roughly, probably about 7 damage roughly through on a Wyvern. So it's almost one shot at a Wyvern, and then you finish off with your Shabdi. So this whole list, and the idea of it, is to really double down on the necromancy, really hit their leadership and then hit them hard. So kind of a big point is, let's look at dwarves. Okay, dwarves are high leadership innately, 9s and then 10s on the king, so it's really tough to kind of get through them. So with this kind of multi ways of getting leadership debuffs, we have let's say a look at 5. So get them down to a leadership of 4. Once again, that's 16.6. Getting down to a leadership 5, they've only got 27.7 chance of passing. Obviously, it's when they get to their veteran. So it's the same with Brett's Exile list, and they have their veteran reroll, and it's really hammers us. So if let's say they're a leadership 4 rerollable, they're on about a 30% chance of passing. So still with a double casket, it really can get probably at least one through, and it can really hurt. On that 5 leadership rerollable, you're on about 47% chance, so you're 50-50 at that point, but that's because of that reroll. So really, I want to be using these caskets as anti kind of units that don't have the veteran, and I really just want to hammer those out and then kind of suppress or stop the veterans with, let's say, my illusion wizard, who gets a +6 to his cast, so I can miasmic and I can column, so I can shut down 2 units with just a single wizard. On that note, I've played Richie recently. I played him twice. First game, got annihilated, bad positioning of everything. But game 2, it was when I've learned a few things and we talked about how I could have done certain things better. We have a look at what happens when leadership does it correctly. So I think my turn 1, I got off 2 spiritual vortexes. I got off 2 caskets. I might have even been 3. It was 3 spiritual vortexes because I was 1 unlucky, and 2 caskets. So I got 2 scream skulls. So I got his iron drakes down to leadership -5. So he's on a leadership 4. His iron drakes. He doesn't have veteran on them. So I hit them with a casket. Goes through. I kill about 8 of them. He has to fall back in good order. So he's now pushed away from me. So the iron drake's now out of the game and don't have to worry about him. Goes on to his longbeards. I've been able to kind of slow them down. It's actually failed an important kind of a double move with his anvil, so he hasn't gotten to me as quickly as he wanted to. I've now been able to just focus on my leadership onto them, so I got them down to a -6, so I got them to a 4 because he had a king in there. Even with that reroll, it's got a 30% chance. He rolled like a 12, 11 or a 10 really high, re-rolled it and got a 5, so he just lost, got through. So my casket went through. I think I did about 6, 7 wounds. He just couldn't pass his ward saves. Unquiet Spirits a few more. So I think in one turn, I think I killed about 15 Longbeards, and it got to a point where he actually fled. He almost fled off the board, but now he's just in a position where his Longbeards aren't doing anything. And I just, for the rest of the game, I just shut it down. I shot them with Shabdi, shot them with another casket, Unquiet Spirits. I cleared off his Longbeards and his Runesmith. His king survived on a wound, which would have been 400 points, which would have been lovely. But this is just showing us that if we go down this necromancy route within the cult, because we can, because of the level 4s, we are able to kind of force enemies into our kind of thing. So if I kill off a big unit or shoot to it, and that stack of up to let's say a -4 debuff stack, it will then affect everyone else's panic, and it's just that constant like, oh, I've got to do another panic test, I've got to do another panic test, and you just keep them at bay, and then whatever hasn't died or hasn't fallen back, you then hit them with the Shabdi, you hit them with the Skeleton Horse Archers, and you play that kind of, I'm just going to run around you-esque with the remaining stuff. So these are the kind of the key probabilities, is that we go down with that triple level 4 to ensure that we get our spiritual vortexes, we ensure we get our spectral steeds, we ensure we get Unquiet Spirits, and then we just hit them with as much leadership debuff as possible. Because even with, let's say, a leadership debuff of 3, so 2 spiritual vortexes and a Screaming Skull, which is probably most likely and most easiest to get. Once again, Orcs, they're down to a 5 up, so they're on 30%. You can hit them hard, and that's on their War Boss. I think their actual Boar Boys are only leadership 7, so they're on a 4. Night Goblins, you can really hit them, as I know that seems to be a big bad at the moment. And also in the mirror match, if you get that turn 1, you send out all those things. Yes, they'll have a banner for re-rolling, but you can hit certain things. You can hit their Necrosphinx and bring those down straight away. You can hit their casket and get rid of them straight away. You can also hit their Shabdi and try and clear them off before they can get their kind of lives back on it. But it's just that. It's just the amount of output you can do to any target, because it's in that aura debuff, it can really help. So you can hit one thing, let's say a spiritual leech and double spiritual vortex and the Scream Skull at -5, you hit that off, you then hit the next unit with the other casket. So it's just this whole idea of doubling down on caskets, Scream Skulls, wizards, and you just force the issue. And then you've got your defensive pieces of your Tomb Scorpions, your Shabdi to really protect you. So that's kind of the look at kind of the probabilities of us with a triple level 4. So that was just my quick analysis. I just wanted to make a short 10-minute video just to get us into our first kind of on the go of this. Looking at, is 3 wizards too many? So depending on what you're going down to, so if you're going down that necromancy route, it is probably advised. But a big kind of issue with this kind of route is what happens if there's more threats at you hard and quick. So it's getting in those Miasma Mirage and Column Crystals with that level 2. That level 2 has done me more good than anything on the list. It's made me be able to control certain units. So once I Miasma Mirage a threat, I can just leave it alone and push on to the next one. So as I said, thank you for watching my first video. I know the quality isn't the best, but I'm hoping my analysis and kind of math side of it all is what can kind of drive this going forward. As I said, a battle report should be coming out soon, and then next week I should be looking at getting a interview video with Charlotte, who came 5th at the Esport Toronto. So it'd be really good to see how she played, what was her list, how she's changed it, and anything she would get rid of or anything of note. So thank you very much, and I'll hope to see you on the next one. Goodbye.